Hello? Hello? Is this thing on? Is this working? Oh man, I know it is so late. I had to come live right now or it wasn't gonna happen. And we missed too much time together when I was sick, so I'm here. I was fully invested in Koala's live. Fully invested. But I made it. All right, and things are working great. And get my chat set up. All right. Hello. We'll turn this off just for a second. Maybe. There we go. Hi there, Gothis. I'm so glad you could be here. I know it's so late. I was I was locked in on, on Koala's live. he was he was talking some good stuff. Cooking. But I'm here. I'm here. I didn't want to miss it. Didn't want to miss it. Didn't want to cancel. How was your week? I don't know if I got. I think I got lots of lag, so I'm gonna do lots of wait time because I can see just from my hand motions. Yeah, I got lag. So much lag. Okay, I am going to. What am I gonna do? I am going to I think open up our statement and get us at least opened up, ready to go. All right. So let's put the statement back on here. Oh, okay. All right. So my leg combined with your leg is just making it the leggiest of leggy. That sounded really crazy. Glad nobody else was here to hear it. Oh my gosh. Okay, okay. Let's um let's let's do our opening statement. Cause now we have our opening statements that help open up the space and give us all the good vibes. So let's start this. Okay, here we go. I still don't have it memorized yet. I still gotta read my little card. It's gonna be all right though. It's still powerful. Still real powerful. Welcome to Vibrant Numerals. Welcome to my sacred temple opportunity space. Welcome to healing with laughter, joy, peace, contemplation, and discomfort. Welcome to Vibrant Numerals. Okay, so we're all in luck that attending Qualities lives always energizes me. It gives me good energy. It's so much good energy in there, not draining. And so I have energy for us today. Otherwise, it'd be, man, it's late. Even though I don't sleep, I still be getting tired. I still be tired. Hey, Judy, thanks for being here on this late live. All right. So, what's our list for today? I for those of you that saw, I was live on Twitch earlier today. It was supposed to be like back to back and it didn't work out that way. But it's okay. Earlier today I was on Twitch and I was looking at like the astrology charts and the numerology for Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. It's still Juneteenth everywhere. Yes, it's still Juneteenth everywhere, at least for a few more minutes. So happy Juneteenth. So we can look at some of those vibrations. Um, what else we got? Yes. Oh, okay. So while you all are getting your list together during, my lag time, I wanted to show you something that actually um gave me a giggle. And yes, it's from Koalities Live because I I get a lot of giggles from being over there. Oh, yeah, that's right. You gave the numbers to Josh. Okay, so hopefully Josh will be able to arrive. It's so late. He might be knocked out, but who knows? Or at work. All right. So, I wanted to show you this. So we looked at hating with evidence, but just to do hate with evidence, this cracked me up. And I'm easily entertained too, so you could just pretend to laugh if you're not as amused. I don't mind. I don't mind. But hate with evidence, we already saw um that evidence is 67, which is the same as like soul. Um, so when you have the evidence, you are digging to the soul level. You like punching somebody in their soul space. Um, which is good. If you're gonna do it right. But hate with evidence, and we might need to start saying it this way because hate with evidence is 161. 161 is a very powerful portal number, where the portal number is any number vibration that has the same value on either side, because those that are the same, so these ones, they want to be near each other, they want to be close to each other, so they're creating this motion of portal, and they're amplifying this 6 in the middle. 6 is all about comfort, but because it's neutral, it means that this is about being comfortable and being uncomfortable. And so when you hate with evidence, you are like going to the soul level and challenging people's comfort. You're challenging what they are comfortable with or what they believe that they're comfortable with. You're actually saying, I don't know that you should be comfortable with that. Or you thought you were comfortable and nobody was going to say anything. Well, here you go. But also, then today, I saw. So one of the articles that Koala pulled up, it was titled "The Rise and Fall of Drake." But this phrase, rise and fall, so without the "thes" of Drake, also equals 161. And so when you have the same vibration, it's whenever you use these words or phrases that vibrate the same, you're amplifying all the others as well. Also, 161. What color do I want to use? Let's use gray. 161 actually has a lot, well, I know a lot of the words and phrases that are associated with 161 because I went on one of my weird rants where I went and found all of these. Well, actually, it was what happens is when you tap into a vibration, then you are seeing that repeatedly everywhere in all its different forms. And so there's been a time when I've tapped into this vibration of 161, and then I saw all these words and phrases that equaled the same thing. Hey, thanks for being here. It's good to see you. So 161 is also the numeric vibration of the word prosperity. So by using the phrase hate with evidence, you're drawing in all that prosperity. It also is the numeric vibration of human experience. So you're tapping into the human experience with this vibration. And roller coaster. So you know how we always say like the best way to describe our human experience is being on a roller coaster? That's why it resonates. That's why. Oh, there's Josh. Hi, Josh. I'm so glad you can make it for the late live. Hey, it's like the night live, kind of like night court. But I don't think I'm gonna sing that again. Maybe. Yeah, so this just gave me a giggle that ever since Koala started using the phrase hating with evidence and hate with evidence, there's been all of these little lines of vibration that are attaching onto it. And that always gives me a giggle. Okay, that was just like a little side rant, my little side entertainment. Yes, I do be over here looking at like all these numbers and vibrations and giggling to myself. I share some of them, but most of them I don't share because I don't know. I have to remember that not everybody sees the vibrations the same way I do. Okay, so what else should we talk about today? What you got for me? You got any dates? Um, we could look at particular dates. We could look at birthdays. We could look at names. We could look at numbers that you're seeing. If you're seeing any repeating numbers. Let's put them on here. Oh, and then tomorrow, during tomorrow's live, I will be looking at all of the vibrations around Vince Staples' new work. So Crybaby. So just for anybody that doesn't know, the way that I do any of those music reviews or movie reviews is we just look at um, the title and the chosen track titles and the artist, and we look at all of those vibrations and how they're moving together and like amplifying certain messages. Okay. Oh, that's a good one. 523. Okay, King. That's 2. We'll put that on here. And then okay. I'm waiting for Judy's numbers. And while we're waiting, I actually think and yeah, then the other thing is I have this notebook. My handy dandy notebook like Blue's Clues. Oh my gosh. I cracked myself up. But anyway, I have my little notebook where I write down all of um the words, the numbers, the vibrations that I encounter. So then well, now I can come share them with you. But I think it's kind of entertaining to see if during certain seasons or during certain times it do certain vibrations like repeat themselves. But I think it may not have been 523, but I did in the last 2 weeks, I know, right? It was either 523 or 532. Let me find it. I know it was recently. Well, in like the last 2 weeks. And I do write a lot, so maybe we can find it while we're waiting for Judy's numbers. But let me know if there's any others. So if anybody wants their um, life path number and look at your life path number, you can put your birthday in the chat. And yes, people do just send them to me through Discord. If you don't want to share your date, I will not do that. Because I know it's very personal. I didn't think it was back this far. Maybe it was. You know what? I think I might have rewritten it. Let me see. Yeah, I thought that was King's birthday, but I wasn't sure. Oh yeah, here it is. It's 532. Oh, and 235 has come up too. All right, so let's just jump right into King's 523. Yeah, if you drop the year king, then I could do your whole life path number. But that's up to you. I won't pressure you. But, I can't say nothing about those in the chat. But let's look at 523. All right, so we moving past hate with evidence. Love that. Get a nice blank space. And okay, so 523. Now we're just going to look at this right now just as a single vibration. Yeah, we'll just look at it as a single vibration. And then we can add them. Add on the year if needed. Oh, okay. Josh is getting those. All right. So, for anybody that hasn't seen me do this before, when we write down our vibrations, we always write them just like we write words from left to right. But when you read vibrations, so when you're using the numbers to read the vibrations in the space, you always read them right to left. And it's like you're taking steps. So whatever number is first or the farthest to the right, it's enhancing and it's leading to the next number to its left. And so we read it this way. All of these vibrations are like woven together. So when we see a number like 523, this number is it's like 3 strings of vibration. So a vibration string of 5, a vibration string of 2, a vibration string of 3 that are wrapped together. And then they're woven together in the bigger vibrational tapestry. Hi, Bryce, you're well. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you. So, 523 is 3 is all about growth. And so the growth that is happening, it is then enhancing or leading to the step of ending division. And this 2 vibration is really strong right now. And what it actually is it's this vibration of going from 11 to 2. So for a very long time, um, people have been talking about how uh, the 11 vibration is the first master number, which is true. But it's considered a master number because it's the first one with those double digits, those ones right next to each other. So whenever you see any of these numbers that have it's 11, it's 22, it's 33, it's 44, it's 55, or the three digits where it's 222, 333, 444. Hey, 222. I just saw it in the chat. um what's happening is when those vibrations are sitting next to each other, it's really loud. It's like putting two speakers that are playing the same thing right next to each other. It's amplifying those vibrations. So any of these master numbers, they feel like they're more powerful. They feel like they're more important because they are amplified, because they are louder. But what happens is when we have some vibrations that are coming in and they are like telling their story all over the place in our social spaces, in our personal lives, in the earth movement and everything, um, then they feel even bigger than these master numbers. But this master number of 11, it really is displaying these two extremes where 11 is the representation of division, polarity, dualism. We live in a space of dualism here on earth, um, where this makes sense, where you have these two sides, these two individuals, these two extremes that are easily standing alone in their own energy and their own power. And bringing them together, figuring out a way how to take what is working and what is good from both of those extremes and create a new path with just the parts that are good from both sides. That's what two is. That's what ending a division is. So when we talk about like, oh, we just need to compromise and come up with a negotiated compromise, then that's how we can end division. In most cases, the division does not fully end until you create something brand new. Because if parts of either of those extremes still exist, that division still exists. It may seem smaller or feel smaller, but it's still there. So if you think about like even with like a division in the mind where you're trying to make a decision, you're trying to make a choice, and you're going back between these two sides. Even if you make a choice and you're like, I'm going this direction, I'm going to do this thing. If that other side is still an option, the division is still going to be there. There's still going to be part of your mind that is going back over there as to like, oh, should I have gone that way instead of this way? So to truly end the division, it's to make a full choice and be like blaze this new path, like start something brand new. So you can't end the division by keeping any parts of those extremes. But if you like salvage those extremes for parts where they're no longer themselves and put them together to create something new, now you're getting an end to the division. So with this 523, it's growth, some kind of growth, some kind of change in positioning. Remembering that all of these vibrations are neutral. So growth can be positive, but growth can also be negative. I mean, you could grow that ditch, dig it real deep for yourself, and that still be considered growth. It's still the vibration of growth. So whatever this growth is it's helping to enhance and bring about the end of division. So if one of these extremes is growing where it's becoming more dominant and the other is now falling away, that could be what's happening. But there's an end to this division. And it's only when this division, whatever it is, ends, that we actually get to a place of change. Because this 5 is change. Something else that's coming up is that this 523, 23 is the numerical vibration of the phrase I am. So whenever I see the 23, then I know that this vibrational story, these steps that we're looking at, it does have to do with identity or something happening in that identity space. So if it's growth around the identity, like growing into the new identity of who you are to be, and that old identity is falling away and you're growing into this new identity, so then you can end the division of being back and forth between these two identities. It's only then that there's a true change in that identity space. And once that change happens, then that's when life changes. Things change very quickly because now these vibrations are working together and enhancing each other to get you to this 10 vibration, where 10 is all about this 0 vibration, which is the vibration of God, of universe, or higher power. This is the one vibration we can't control. We are greatly blessed by having this 0. It enhances everything that's to the left of it. So this is like not just, so 1 is new, so this new, and in this case it's this new identity, where now not only is it brand new and you're getting more energy in to feed and help grow this new space, but also God, universe, a higher power is blessing it. That's very powerful. That's very powerful. And then this gives you the 1. The other thing is that in this year of 2026, because this year, if we do 2 plus 2 plus 6, we get 10. Because this is a 10 year, it means all of these 10s are enhanced. It's just like we talked about with the 11, where it's these two 10s next to each other, like really amplifying all of that energy. So anything that you can do in this year that's really building up something new, and that it's blessed by God or universe, where it's like, this is meant to be, this new thing is meant to be, is going to be bigger and enhanced very greatly in this year, because we have this 10 energy of the year adding to it. I don't know why I need to say this, but I also have that 23 in my birthday. And when you have that 23, a lot of the vibrations around your purpose, and what you provide to the world, it's held tightly to your identity. So, something else to think about is, so this 523, it's also one of these vibrations that we've been seeing behaving in an interesting way. So, all of these vibrations, they're all woven together, but they also move. and how they move can make them either more enhanced and more impactful, um, or it could dull them down. Also, think about it as like the vibrational movements is causing ripples. And so if that vibration is moving more, then there's more ripples. Or if it's moving in a particular way, those ripples are going in a particular direction and impacting a particular area of our life, or a particular set of people, or a particular country, or whatever. And so this this 2, 5, and 3 vibrations are one that this year in particular, and it may be because it is a 10 year, that these vibrations that vibrate at 10 are also doing this, are they're vibrating in this way where they're creating a lot more ripples this year than usual. And so this would include all of these variations of this vibration. So it'd be 235 and 250, or wait, what? I said 253 and 325 and 352 and 523 that we just saw, and also 532. And the one, so this 235 is the one that's coming up the most. Before we get there, let me show you for 523. It was actually just like within the last 2 weeks that this vibration of 523 or 532 was very, very loud. It was making lots of ripples. And this 532, one of the statements, I guess it's a statement, it's a whole ass sentence, that resonates at 532. So, when I say it resonates at 532, it means that if you take all the letters in that statement, and now we have our handy, which side is it on? I'm never going to figure that out. But we have our handy dandy code book over there on one side. One of these sides. If you take all of the letters and use that code, this is what it adds up to. That's what all these letters and words add up to. That's the vibration that they're putting out into the world, and that we are encountering. And so the phrase that keeps coming up that equals 532 is with greater power comes greater responsibility. And it's interesting because people keep pulling this up all the time. I don't know. Oh, Josh, you're not helping. Yes, that's true. It is on the it's on the real side. It's on, yes. It's on the right side of the law, but may not be on the right side of my screen. I don't know. But with greater power comes greater responsibility. So it's been interesting how this statement has been coming up in the last 2 weeks, and it's been one of these really powerful ones. This 235 has actually been extremely loud for probably the last year or so. But I can tell you what has come up, and it's crazy that you put that number in here, King, because Uh, I just today, earlier today, 6:19, wrote down 235 and 532. But let's see, 235, the most recent ones, like in the last week, um, that have come up is history making event and art expresses the time. Oh, not the, no the, no the. Art expresses, oh man, I spelled this all kinds of wrong. Good thing there's a lag so I could catch it before you do. My gosh, I crack myself up. You know what? I didn't even think about that. You're right, Josh. That's kind of creepy. Um, Also, the phrase "the century of the self," which is interesting because when you think of the self, it's also part of that identity. And here's that 23 again, for I am. And probably one of the creepiest ones because I did write it down. I did write it down earlier today, and then we got a special visit. But 235 is also the numeric vibration of the phrase "embrace your wellness." And then you were able to make it today, and it's right there on my list. That's cool. So, is that all I've got for this? Yes, I think so. I think so. So I'll leave this up here if you have any questions. But I'm going to get a drink of water and catch up in the chat because, FOMO. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes. Double five. Okay. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Great. So and also you are catching up. Yeah. Okay. Good. You saw it. I am going to go back to our little list and I'll put Judy's numbers in here and let me know if there's anything else. Do 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 do. All right. Yes, Judy. Everything's always connected. Isn't that crazy? Like it always like excites me and freaks me out all the time. I should be used to it by now, but no, I'm not. All right, so 171.53, 222, and 140.26. Sorry, I was listening. Um, so hopefully, um, King Ham is still here. Something else that just is it's coming up like residual. You know how um I was gonna say like you see like a puff of smoke and then it disintegrates out or like dissipates out. And some of the residual that's left is what is coming up. There's something around the I don't fully understand this, but hopefully you do. But there's something around the direction in which you are growing is slightly off. It's what it looks like and like what it feels like is like you're walking like right on the edge of this path, which is giving you too many opportunities to like step off and fall. When there is a whole like the path is wide, but you're walking right on the side here, so like you're going in the right direction, but you need to um make your steps more solid by moving over to the middle. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Hopefully it does, because I don't get it, but that's what's coming in. That's what I'm telling you. So there you go. If you have more questions around that, certainly ask away. Okay. So let's look at Judy's numbers and then we'll look at Juneteenth last. Because I don't know, because there are a few of you that were at the on the Twitch. I'll publish that Twitch video. So anybody that wants to get more or like all of the information for Juneteenth, you can go over there and get some screenshots. Because I don't know how much I'll go over. We'll see. Oh my gosh, of course your battery's at 32. I just saw that in the chat. All right, so let me copy this. And we'll go this way, this way, this way. All right. So let's take a look. Let's take a look. Okay, good. Good. I just saw your comment, King Hammer. I'm glad that makes sense to you. All right. So, hmm. Oh, Embrace did? I think I missed it. Did YouTube make me miss it? I don't know that I saw it. Let me go back and see. Mm. Oh no, I don't see it. I can't see it. Why won't it show me? Why can you see it and I can't? May 9th? Okay. So let me go write it over here. Let me write it over here because we cannot forget that. Do 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 do. Yeah. Okay. I think my phone where I'm watching the chat is way behind. More than like 45 seconds. Okay. So we have it there now. Great. Okay. So let's look at these. So there's always something interesting. Okay. I don't know. There is something, okay, there's something here that is it's very much coming through as like coordinates. So you know how like you look on the map and we have like all the latitude and longitudinal lines, and then that gives us like the coordinates of the position of something. There's coordinates in here. Um it's resonating with these two that you have as with the decimals in there. But I don't know what that means because it's interesting because it's feeling like it's um it's a movement of coordinates where it's like from here to here. I don't even know if these are real, if those coordinates even like exist. So if you want to go look at it and let me know, um, I would look at them as like, because usually you have to have a longitude and a latitude, where whatever's before the decimal is one and what's after the decimal could be another. Ah, you're you're right, Josh. Location, location, location. But there's something, something is moving here, and it's very specific about a map, which is so weird. Okay, so while you look and see if those are actually coordinates or if they exist, if this is a good location, 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 um, let's look at these. So, whenever you are working with any of these, let's get a different color, any of these vibrations that have the decimal, um, usually how I deal with them is that they are working together, but they're like their own strands. So, it's kind of like, if you are doing a weaving, um, then you have these two different strands that are being woven together. So let's see. Yeah, degrees and minutes. Ugh. That's that that's that's kind of creepy. Oh, in the Arctic Ocean, just like north of eastern Russia. Oh, oh. Well, okay. Oh, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know if I even want to work with this anymore. It's like making me a little uncomfortable. What's out there? Nope, we don't want to know. We don't care. Whoever's listening, we don't care what's out there. We're just gonna let it be out there. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's wow. Really? What if you switched them? What if you switched them where um it was the other way around? Cuz then it would be somewhere else, right? Yeah, I know. I know universe has a plan, but it's creepy. Something something it really is like coming through very strong as a map and a movement on the map where it may be that they're both longitudinal or they're both latitude, and it's like a movement. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm going to need the universe to quit playing jokes and stop creeping me out. Thank you and good night. Not good night yet. Not good night yet. But this is the stuff that happens at these late night. So like when I can't sleep and I just be up, these are some of the crazy stuff that be coming through. Like what? The veil must be very thin because everybody and everything has something to say. Oh my gosh. What? That's so creepy but interesting. And sometimes when I get coordinates, also it's about like putting the shape on the map. Where I've gotten like multiple coordinates before, and it's not about that one point, but it's about like the whole shape on the map. But that's a big old shape. I don't know about that. What? And why are they both like so remote? Yeah, that's creepy. Okay. I'm focusing back in. So whenever you have these vibrations that have like the decimal in between, it is like you're like two strand twisting these two threads of vibration. And so you treat them as separate, but you add them together. But it's important to recognize the two that are in there. So for this 171, we have that another one of these portal numbers where these ones want to be next to each other, and so it's creating this portal motion, which is really trying to uh, enhance and amplify taking action, but making sure you're taking action in vibrational flow. And so this 171 is having this movement of vibrational flow all the way to an end point. So it is about an end point. Then we have 53 on this side, and this is Well, we just saw some of this where it's only the 2 that's missing in between here. So this is a growth that's bringing change. But the change, oh, that's too close to the other color. The change that it's bringing is around these cycles. So a lot of times when we think about what these cycles are in our life, people want to get very deep and philosophical and only talk about karma or talk about history repeating itself. But really, any repetitive use of energy would be considered a repeating pattern, a repeating cycle, which is this vibration of 8. So it's any of our repeating habits, our ways of doing things, our ways of thinking. These will all be part of this 8 vibration as well. And so, if we do 171 plus our 53, this side of, I guess, coordinates, I guess that's what we're doing here, is 224. Yes. And that's going to an 8. So this 171, this new energy creating a portal to really push for action being taken around any of these cycles, these repeating cycles of things. It's really important to be focused in on that. So what are these cycles that have come from that space? It also, what's coming up now that I'm talking about this is, so I still see that freaking map, but now it's like I don't want to be, sometimes I don't want to know some of the stuff I see, but it looks like a whirlpool. But it's weird because it's switching between like this whirlpool motion in the water, and then it's this whirlpool up on the land. So like the shifting from land and water, but it's this movement. And you think about this whirlpool movement is it's pulling things in. And so then that might be the action, is like the pulling things in. So these cycles, these things that are repeating around and around, are getting to the point where they are moving so much in this way that it is creating like a whirlpool or a tornado that's like pulling things in. Now, we don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I think it probably depends on what these cycles are that are actually creating this whirlpool motion. But let's look at this other side, because I'm curious to see what that means. So if this 171.53 is giving us these whirlpooling motions, the pulling in of this energy, and it feels it feels neutral, but it feels more like on the negative side. And that might be why it's this moving energy or this moving motion, where it's like moving away from pulling in, like sucking in these things that are actually negative in your life, to something different, to whatever is on this other side. Both of, yeah, move your wash from the washer to the dryer. Oh my gosh, that's funny. That gave you a good giggle. All right, so let's look at this 140.26. So we okay. So here we have this we've talked about this several times because we saw it in um the vibrations for the whole year. So 26 is the numerical vibration of the word God. I always put it as a little g God because these are the gods that we create. Whether it's a person, it's an idea, it's a behavior, um these are what we are putting up on like a pedestal and looking at them as godlike. Like they, because if you think about what godlike actually means, it actually is meaning that it's impacting your life in ways that feel like outside of your control. But we have that right here next to um this zero, which is the vibration of big G God or universe or higher power, where this is the only vibration that we don't have control over. We don't get to try and pull in that zero vibration or that zero energy and use it. All the other vibrations we do. So we can use our affirmations, we can use all of our manifestation tools, our meditations to be able to draw in these different vibrations to be able to work with them and like weave our reality out of these vibrations. We don't have that with God or universe. So then that means that this small g God, we do have control over. We can choose to not have the gods that we've been putting in position actually be there. We don't have to make the idol. Um, and so it's interesting that this is here because this God universe energy is enhancing this 14, where 14 is all about this mix of energies. 4 is having stability, while 1 is something new. So it's these two things that you need both of them, but they don't fully mix. It's like oil and vinegar. Need them both for a great vinaigrette, but they don't necessarily mix. They don't come together like we want all the time. So oil and water also. Um, and so it's interesting that this God universe is enhancing and encouraging this mix of energies. Um, and it is coming up very strongly about having these old things that bring you stability um, still in the mix of things as new comes in. But really making sure that you recognize that it is the universe that's asking for this mix of energies, whereas what you are putting as godlike in your life, it feels like a way of doing something because that 26 is also, it's still an 8. So it's still this vibration of this perpetual cycle. It's like the routines or the behaviors or the ways of thinking that have become godlike. It's like they control your life. And they feel like they control your life, but you actually do have control of them. And it's interesting that both of these vibrations that are coming after The decimal point are eights. So we have 26 8, and then over here we had 53 8. So there's a lot of eights here. Really pushing for looking at what are these repeating cycles. So if we had over here that these repeating cycles are creating these whirlpools and starting to pull in things that you don't necessarily want in your life, then it's moving to this other side where we have 140 plus 26. So 166 adds up to 13, which is, need another color. Okay, I think we'll go back to the purple. 13 is the vibration of transformation. So remembering that transformation is making this change that you cannot come back from. So it's recognizing where you have these repeating patterns, these repeating habits, behaviors, ways of doing things that are creating some of these whirlpool things, but also that are around, that are kind of creating these this sense of being out of control. And if you recognize that you have those along with this mix of things where it's the stability of the old with the new need to exist together. Yes, 166 is the numeric vibration of the community. So, and I think this actually also fits in with your 122. So if we're moving from, so the vibrational story is saying that we are going from this 224 8, where this stability is prominent here. So it's like these routines and these habits that are creating the stability are putting you in a position where you're able to end these divisions in multiple areas of life. But it's time to move away from doing this, because doing this is creating those whirlpools. So having those same patterns, so you know how we have things where at one point in our life we are doing these routines, we're doing these things consistently, and it's really helping our life. But then you get to a point where it starts hurting your life, where once you get to the point where you're not growing from it anymore, now it's just becoming a burden. So that's what this is feeling like. It's feeling like some of these things that have been done, these routines, these consistent things of doing that you were doing to be able to end division in multiple areas of life to create more stability, is actually becoming like this whirlpool that is pulling in things that aren't necessarily good anymore. Well, and from your perspective, because you know it's all perspective. And for that reason, there needs to be a movement over to this, move over to the other side, go to the other side. I don't know why it came out that way. to this energy of 140, 26. Oh, so 166. So 166, where the focus is on transformation, but it's transformation. Oh my gosh, I keep like picking colors and I don't transformation in the way of using what makes you happy and what makes you feel free, because 66 is happy and freedom. Also, it is family. So take what is making you feel happy, what makes you feel free, um, and what feels like family, and help that to enhance this new way of life that is meant to transform everything you're doing. So it's like there are some things that you've been doing for a while that are coming to an end, and they need to come to an end. There's other things that need to come to an end so that you can focus more on what makes you happy, what makes you feel free. So that allows this new energy to come in. And in this transformation, what is really important for you to see is that you're so focused on creating stability this old way that through this transformation, you get a whole brand new way of creating stability. So it's not changing that is going to make you unstable or unstable. I don't know what the proper word is. Um, but it's actually this changing, this transformation that'll bring you to a place where you're even more stable. And this ties into your other number, because this is where 222 sits. And 222 is the vibration of the opportunity. Because the opportunity resonates at 222. And you see here, there is these twos are coming together to bring you stability, but also bring you that six of being happy and comfortable and finding this freedom. Okay, so to recap, because it feels like this is relevant for multiple people. So I want to recap that there is an opportunity. There is an opportunity that is arising um, that can bring a transformation in your life, a new way of feeling stable that actually honors your happiness, your freedom, and your sense of family. And to get there, you need to look at what are these repeating cycles. So it can be your habits, your behaviors, your routines, but it also can be some of these like generational, what we call curses, or these repeating family behaviors. It could be repeating society systems um, um, that you've been using to be stable and feel stable that are just not working anymore. So look at what are some of these repeating things that you've been doing. You're doing them. They're not being done to you. There's some of these repeating things that you are doing. Look at what are the things that you say you have to do. Because that's What's going to help you identify these things? Where you are saying you have to do this to gain and retain stability. Look at those and see which ones are no longer working for you, because something there is pulling in something you do not want in your life, something that you would perceive as negative. And you will not be able to take advantage of this opportunity if you don't change those. If you don't change those routines, change those cycles, change those habits. You can look at what makes you happy, what makes you feel free. Look in the community space. We are at a point in history also where the community is coming back as being very important. But we have lost our sense of community and way of being in community. So we need to relearn, how do we truly be in community with each other? But look in those community spaces for the things that make you happy, that make you feel free, and that give you that sense of family. That's where, whenever you change those routines and those habits, you get rid of those cycles, that energy doesn't just leave. It needs to be moved somewhere else. It needs to be moved to those spaces. So you need to develop these new cycles, new habits, new routines around what makes you happy, what makes you feel free, what makes you feel the sense of family. And this is going to have you be able to latch on to the opportunities that are being presented to you so that you can get a full transformation. Full transformation means never going back. It's caterpillar to butterfly is a transformation. That's what's being offered here. And it gives you a new understanding of what stability is. So if you had one way of thinking that to be stable and to feel stable, you had to do these things this way, this opportunity is helping to open up the space to show you that there is another way of being stable. And this other way of being and feeling stable and secure actually centers around what makes you happy, what makes you feel free, and gives you that sense of family. Very important message, it feels like, probably for all of us. Thank you so much for bringing these to us. And it's interesting to see, Judy, how as you're bringing these vibrations and these numbers, they are morphing together, where originally they were each giving these different messages, and now they're really working together to give these bigger messages. You're very welcome. Thank you. Whoa, that was good. We're having a good late night stream. All right. So let's look at May 9th. And embrace your wellness. If you want to do your year, you could just add up the 4 digits of your year and just give me that 2-digit number. Then we could do your life path number. But it's up to you. Whatever you want. What? I don't want that. Come on, whiteboard. Act right. It's definitely the shirt. I actually had a Juneteenth shirt on that I was going to wear. And I was like, I cannot have Koala ranting and raving how wonderful this shirt is, and then I don't wear it. So, yeah, I changed it. Yeah. I'm telling you this because this design on the shirt, it actually came to me in meditation, and then it haunted me in dreams. So it was really meant to be out there, and it's very interesting because the way it's designed to be a grid. So like if you do feng shui or you do crystal grids, um it's made to draw in energy and help you use energy in an intentional way to like manifest. Yeah, this design is like that too. So it's always interesting to hear everybody say how they feel when they wear it and like what happens around you. And very cool that you actually can notice a difference. I don't know, maybe our my whole wardrobe needs to be this merch. I do have some new designs in the works though also. Okay, so May 9th, and then the year we have is 25. Okay. Why could I see that number, but I couldn't see any of the others? Whatever. All right. So it's in a year that adds up to 25. All right. So to do your life path number, you first add up the digits of your year. So you take those 4 digits that are in your year. You youngins have lots of zeros. I'm not mad at you. I love you. I love my Gen Zers. But you add up the digits of your year. So this is the year. And you get that 2-digit number. Do not reduce that number to 1 digit yet. So the way that we have previously calculated our life path numbers, we reduce everything so that we get a single digit. And then we're given a single digit for our life path number. Oh, I need to drink water. I was like, why is my mouth so dry? Okay. And so usually we're given like this single digit number, and we're told, oh, our personality and who we are revolves around this like single digit number. But it's just the same as like with horoscopes when we only look at our sun sign. We're just looking at one small piece of our vibration. And when we look at our life path number, just at the single digit, we're just looking at the outcome, like what we have to contribute vibrationally to the whole of life. So through our life, this is the vibration we have to contribute. That's the single digit. But if we don't reduce until the very end, then we actually get a path that has 2 steps in it. Or what are these 2 steps that we need to take to actually get to that vibrational contribution? And so we add up the digits of the year, but we keep it in 2 digit. And then we take that year number and we add it to the month. So May is the 5th month, and then the 9th. And I'll pull out my handy dandy calculator just to make sure, just making sure. I've been doing stuff in my head today, huh? That's weird. And so this is 39. Hmm. So, first thing that is interesting is that, so then this goes to 12. We add that up to 12 and to 3. So when you have two of these double digit numbers, this is when you have multiple steps because you're needing to get to another level. It's not necessarily like harder or like different. It's just giving you, it's like, okay, you actually have one more step to really just be aware of. The other thing is that we have encountered this life path number of 39 before, and it's actually for hip hop. So hip hop has the same life path number as embrace your wellness. So that means that hip hop, as a culture that was born into this space, is contributing vibrationally in a very similar way as embrace your wellness. That's kind of cool. So that also would be why there would be like a connection to hip hop, where even if there was times in your life where you're like, I'm not resonating with hip hop, or it's like not my thing, or some artists are my thing, but I keep being drawn back here. That's probably why. Because we have these vibrational connections, these ties to things. This also means that you could look at like the life cycle of hip hop, like the ebbs and flow of hip hop and how it's contributing to the world, the vibrations, the energy of the world, and apply that very easily to your own life. Where, like, yes, there's lots of things in hip hop that are inspirational and that everybody can apply to their own lives, but it's going to do something different for you. It's going to like be enhanced. It's going to work way better. So it's like the difference between like somebody that is applying something from hip hop and their puzzle piece with hip hop is just two flat straight lines and it just fits together like this. Okay, it fits, but it's not like it's an exact fit. Like it's not perfect fit. With you, it literally is that the shape of your piece is the exact piece that fits with hip hop because of that same vibration of 39 there. So there's things that you could pull from that vibrational space, some of the lessons to learn, but also you could go into that space and probably really help a lot of people um, that connect with hip hop. So I don't know if you've thought about it or if it's what you do already, but using hip hop as a tool to fulfill your greater purpose in the world and to connect with people, you could do that very easily because of this vibrational connection. Also, um, so the three steps. The first step you have is this 9. So this is the first step. Let's not use numbers because, too many numbers. So your first step in reaching your vibrational contribution is here. Okay, that makes sense then. Is 9, and then your second step is 3. Then the third step is 12, and then the outcome is here, which is 3. So your life path number is 3. It is what you're contributing to the world. So you're contributing to the world about growth. But really, your vibrational contribution is to be an example, and also um, to help lead people towards understanding the difference between positive and negative growth. That not all growth is good. And what growth actually looks like. Because if you're because some people think that if you're just moving in a lateral motion, that you're not growing, you're just growing in a different way. And that's something that you could help show them. But the way that you do that is through these steps. So your first step is 9, which is bringing an end to cycles. So you are meant to really understand these cycles that have both benefited yourself and other people, but also the cycles that have been detrimental to people. So you're really meant to understand what these cycles are. So these cycles can, like we just talked about with 8, where they can be habits, behaviors. But when you're at getting to that 9, these are usually very big, and especially in your life path number, where this is like pointing out and trying to end the cycles that oppress people, that cause people to go into depression or have a harder mental state, that make these cycles that make life harder, but also the cycles and the patterns and the consistency that can make things easier. You're meant to understand these cycles so well that you're able to end them. And you're supposed to have a focus on ending some of these cycles. So if you ever get in this where I need to end the cycles of my family that came before me, like whatever these bad habits or things that happened before, we're going to break those cycles. We're going to end those cycles, but also helping others to see how to end the cycles in their life that aren't benefiting them. Okay, teach through storytelling. That makes complete sense with that hip hop connection. So, your first step is not just really understanding what these cycles are, but understanding how to end them. And then being able to grow from that place. Because a lot of times people don't end what they're doing, or they don't end things because they don't know what comes next, and they get worried and they get afraid. You actually are in a position where you can help end these cycles, but then also show how you can grow from this new place. And you're doing this by showing or bringing a change in perspective. So it's kind of like you are breaking down the foundations that people have been standing on, that they've been thinking life can only be this way. And this is life. This is how it's always going to be. But you're helping to break some of those cycles so that you can grow out of that space. And as you grow out of that space, now you're getting a change in perspective. So it's like if you um have always lived in a basement apartment your whole life, and you think everybody lives in a basement apartment, you don't know what life is like not being in that basement apartment. But you come in and you're able to help break some of those cycles of thinking of like, no, there are other options, there are other things to do. We'll break these behaviors so that those become opportunities for you, and then help them to grow. And now they're realizing, oh, I could live on the second floor or the third floor or the 30th floor. And when they are there, now they have this new perspective. And so then their sense of growth and where they want to grow to changes also. And that's this final contribution where it's like you are contributing to their overall growth in a lifetime, helping them to grow to bigger and better things. But you're doing this a lot of the times, um, like by example or as a model. And that's how it is for all of us, because we all have these vibrations that are just part of us. And so we know them very, very well. And we're meant to know them very, very well. And then that puts us in a position where now we can help model that for others, and we can become the healers and the teachers to help others have those same kind of results. This changing perspectives is a really big thing um, in your vibration. So that 12 of like really doing a lot to help yourself and other people change the way they see the world, they see themselves, and see their life. Because if you don't have that change of perspective, you cannot fully grow into who you're meant to be. And that's what you're meant to do as a contribution. Very cool. I want to look at, let me know if you have any questions, or if something is not resonating and we can look at it again. But I want to, because your name came up also today, I want to look at, so embrace your wellness 235. Let's add that to your life path number of 39 so we can see how these vibrations work together, and how they're used together. So 235. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. Okay, this makes sense. So when we put these two together, we get 274. And some of the important pieces here is 74 is the numerical vibration of the word energy, but also trauma. So with your name of embrace your wellness with your life path number of 39, it really is connecting you in to these energy streams, especially around your own, but also others' trauma. And being able to use that energy and use that understanding um, to help end these divisions, because that's this too, in a way that helps yourself and others get to a place of transformation, like we were just talking about. So you probably very much um feel and can see not just the energy that's moving around you, but how that energy um sits in trauma, because trauma, like, it doesn't move very much. It makes you very heavy. So you understand that, you could see it, you could sense it. You probably very much have to work on your own energy, especially around any trauma, a lot, and have those regular routines, because you're so tapped in and connected to other people's energy, and especially their trauma. But if you maintain your own energy, then you are able to end any of this division within yourself and help others to end their division, so you can get to a place of transformation. That's very cool. Ooh, I like your vibrations. Your energy is, it feels all good and cozy up in here. Because it also feels like your energy is moving a lot, where, like, it feels like you're very aware of your energy and how energy impacts you, but also how your energy could impact others. And so, because of that knowledge, you really make sure that you're, I don't know any other way to put it, but you're not, like, crapping on people. You're not dumping yucky energy on anyone. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, your energy feels good. Thank you for sharing. Let's see. Let me catch up in chat and drink some water. Oh yeah, you're right, Josh. This is very relatable. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Embrace your wellness for sharing this, because this was important. Okay, good. Oh, grow your channel. Yes. Well, and this shows you where you could tap in and how you could do that, and how you could actually use hip hop in a particular way. Like, if you used hip hop in your work, it would resonate very loudly, because your vibrations are the same. Oh, okay. Nope, that makes sense. Yep. That's what it felt like, you were an empath. Yep. Yep. So you got to make sure you keep your energy clear, cuz you could grab onto it very much. That was great. I'm so glad. Thank you to everyone to make sure that I did not miss that, cuz that was great. Mhm. Ooh, it's so late. But I do want to ease on down the road. Just kidding. Uh, but I do want to at least talk a little bit about Juneteenth, even though we're moving out of Juneteenth, because this is a super late night stream. But I did want to show a few things, and like I said, I did do that recording on Twitch, and this may be why I did that on Twitch earlier. Um so that we can go back to all of this, but I'll make that available right after this. So if you want to go back and see some of those calculations and see what I pulled up, you absolutely can. So let me real quick look at what I have, and we could talk more about this tomorrow too, because I will be back tomorrow. Um let's talk about Mm-hmm. You guys give great advice. I mean, that's for you, Judy. You know, I don't really ever know really what time it is. I know it's late, but I don't really sleep. So, late is very relative to me. Let's see. Um, what do I want to talk about? Let's. Okay, I'll let you choose. Do you want to look at Juneteenth astrology or numerology? I'm going to get some water and wait for your response because I know there's a lag. 18th century time is crazy. Do you want to look at the astrological charts of what was happening in the skies on that day or the numerology of the name itself? I mean, we could probably, both are probably going to get slipped in there because it's me. But which would you like me to focus on? I better not. I was gonna go and like release that video right now, but OBS be tripping. So if I go and try and do that, everything is definitely gonna crash. Oh my gosh. Oh, here, I got a screen we can use. It has both the numerology and the astrology. Let me look at something else real quick. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna go down here. Okay, so while deciding on focusing on the numerology or on the astrology, um, a few things that I did want to say about um I I know that's what you were saying. Um so Juneteenth has always been interesting to me because every person, but every also group, culture, country, and nation of people have a birth date. They have a time when they've come into the world vibrationally, and their vibrational core has been solidified to contribute to the vibration of the world. Now, Juneteenth is when the enslaved people in Texas were delivered the information, this note, that they were now free. But there was actually numerous places after the fact that we're still waiting for that message. But we use Juneteenth as like the birthday of these. I never know what to call this group of people. And there's a couple reasons for that. So we used June 19th, 1865, because it is the date that we here in the United States of America recognize as the birth date of these people that were coming out of this state of enslavement. Because so many people have agreed that this is the date that we are going to celebrate and that we are going to use, that's why it resonates like a birth date, even though it was years later and over time that enslaved people were freed really across the Americas and in the Caribbean. So that's another reason why I struggle with how to name this group of people, because this is not just the people that were enslaved in the United States. This vibration and this group of people include those people that were enslaved and their lineages that were in the Caribbean, in all of North America, and all of Central and South America. So predominantly in the United States and in the Caribbean spaces, but we want to make sure to include everybody. So the other thing I just gotta say, okay, this is a little bit of a rant of mine, but a few years ago, I met some good friends from South America, and they asked me, they were like, why do you all call yourselves Americans when you're only one country out of a bunch of countries that are in the Americas? And I'd never thought about that, and I was like, oh man, that wow, that's an asshole move. So by calling ourselves Americans, it's like we are saying we are the representation for um all of North America, Central America, and South America. I was like, oh man. So I since then have tried very hard to stop using American. I'll use United States or United States of America, as to not wrap anybody else in the Americas into our United States of America mess. Because I don't want to include anybody in those energies if that's not where they need to be. But in this case, we do want to include everybody in those spaces. All right, so we'll go through this pretty quickly because it's late. But Juneteenth, so the name Juneteenth resonates at this 122. So it very much is a 5. And then the life path number of Juneteenth. So this nation of people that were born out of this date is 45, which is a 9. So we have the change of ending divisions. So 5 is change, 2 is like ending those divisions. So going through and ending these divisions to bring about change. And this change is all the way coming to an end of cycles, an end of ways of doing things. And so just looking at these vibrations, it's very much that this nation of people, this group of people that use this date as an emancipation date, they were meant to be in this world as a group to be able to point out and show where the polarizations and the divisions are, but also to help in those cycles that cause that polarization. I think that's amazing. The other things on the birth chart. So this is actually the birth chart for Juneteenth. This is for June 19th, 1865, and it is at 8:30 p.m. So to get that time, I actually had to do a little bit of historical digging and found that while oh man, I won't do that. While the northern troops were there earlier in the day, so this is Galveston, Texas. Um, Even though they were there earlier in the day, on the 18th, they chose to post this announcement on the 19th. Then also thinking about what was actually happening. So these northern troops were sent to take this announcement and post it around so that enslaved peoples would know that they were free. But these people weren't allowed to read. They weren't allowed to leave the plantation without like permission from whoever was in charge. I don't even want to say that word. But so, in thinking about how were people actually getting this word, and they weren't given anything. So they were like, oh, you're free to go. Well, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? And looking through a lot of the documents of that time, even though the northern troops were coming to post these announcements, they were seeing that as just doing their duty. They were not seeing it as, well, at least not all of them. Maybe some were, but they weren't seeing it as like a freeing of people. They were just seeing it as doing their due diligence, and they were doing whatever was convenient for actually the plantation owners. And so a lot of these announcements were put up only as written documents. And so it took a really long time for people on the plantations to even know what was happening, because there weren't anybody that could read, and the plantation owners weren't going to tell them. And so the time that is used is 8:30 p.m. because there's another thing that was happening is that um even once like the town people, the shop owners, the plantation owners saw the announcement and knew what was happening, they would wait until like the middle of the night, if at all, to actually tell people that they were free, because they were trying to in every way put up these barriers so that they would stay. And then we have the whole becoming sharecroppers, and going into that second stage of what continued to be slavery. And then we have um the incarceration system, but whew, we're not going to get into all that. So all that to just say that this 8:30 p.m. Was probably when, by word of mouth, by overhearing, people were actually starting to get the message, understand what it meant, and be able to leave if they wanted to. A lot of people didn't. Also, remember that there was a large amount of enslaved people in Texas, because as the Civil War was going on, these plantation owners were moving all of their enslaved people to try and hide them in Texas. So as the Union Army was coming in, and they were actually posting about the Emancipation Proclamation, and these troops were coming in, these northern troops were coming in to free enslaved people. um all of these people were moved to Texas to try and hide them, and in Galveston in particular. So that history is interesting about how all of that happened. But this is the date that we use for birth. All right. Sorry, I went on a tangent because I think that's interesting history. But what else we have on this birth chart? So what was happening at this moment in time? So that time that was selected really impacts this rising. And so here at this 8:30 p.m. Is a Capricorn rising. Capricorn is all about the structure of things. And so this means that looking at these groups of people, the first thing you notice is that they are highly impacted, and were and continue to be highly impacted by the structures, the systems, and the powers that be. You can look at this group of people that were enslaved and were freed during this time, and really see what's happening within the systems in which they lived. The other things, let's see, what else is interesting? I mean, all of these are interesting, but let's go over here to so we have a couple of things that are happening right now. So currently, Neptune is in Aries again. Neptune is the dissolution of illusion. So an energy can only be broken up or changed by the same energy. So Neptune creates the illusions, the dream state, but it also dissolves them. And so Neptune is in Aries currently. And so as Neptune in 2026, I think it's there for like 9 years, maybe longer than that, 12 or 14 years. With Neptune in Aries, as it's moving across, some of the things that were built during this time, in 1865, some of the illusions that were built are going to begin to be dissolved. So we see here, so some of these illusions, especially around this group of formerly enslaved people, will these illusions of who they are and their contributions will begin to be dissolved. That goes along with this impacting of the structure, because we also know that the structure of and the physical structures are were built by and on the backs of these people. So all of these illusions are beginning to be dissolved as Neptune is moving through Aries. The other thing that's happening right now is we have Uranus in Gemini again. Every time Uranus is in Gemini, the United States of America is in some kind of war. So during this time, the United States was in the Civil War. It was during that Civil War time, but also kind of the end of like that American Revolution time. And so we would expect to see this energy become very loud again. Uranus and Gemini is about unexpected change and revolution in the areas of communication. So we just talked about how it was communicated to people that the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed, that states were putting it into, they were ratifying it into their own laws, that enslaved people needed to be free. This was revolutionary. It was a turning point in this Civil War, Revolutionary War, and in the American Revolution as well. What's interesting, extra interesting, is that this group of people have the sun sitting right next to, literal conjunction with this Uranus and Gemini. So this means that as these revolutionary acts and these revolutionary things that are happening and were happening in communication and areas of communication, this group of people is putting a spotlight on it with the sun, and they continue to. So even look through history and look at any of these areas of advocacy and revolution and protest. It's the people a lot of the times that are coming out of this group, or that at least are highly connected to the people that are in this nation of people, that are putting a spotlight on these revolutionary acts. They're leading the way because we have the sun here. Also, the sun is the mind and the way of thinking. So the mindset of this nation of people is around communication and highly connected to revolutionary communication. I think that's very interesting. So right now we have both of these long-term generational planets. So both Neptune and Uranus, and the other one is Pluto. They move so slowly that whatever energy or they are putting out into the world and how that energy is used is generational. These three planets, their energy promotes, enhances, supports, and pushes for generational change. And we have two of the three in the same positions that they were in, well, in the same signs that they were in during this time period. So in the next 18, like 14 to 18 years, we could see historical events on this level because the way these planets are sitting here together. Okay, the last thing I think I will talk about, and then we could talk about this more tomorrow if we want to, is this Chiron and Pisces. So Chiron is the wound. One thing. So the life path number of Juneteenth is 45. Um, and the life path number of the United States of America, so on its Independence Day, is 32. If we do 45 plus 32, we get 77. And 77 is the numerical vibration of the English word wound, but also the English word power. And we already know that the two of these nations together, so the foundational people of the United States of America and the foundational people of this Juneteenth nation, when those vibrations and those energy come through, it's all about this power. These power struggles is who has power and why do you have power. It's these power dynamics, and also it's about great wounding, generational wounding. Um, and there's no way to get away from that because these are just how the vibrations were brought into the world. This example of how the United States of America interacts with its people of that are the ancestors and the lineage of these enslaved people. It plays out this story of power and wounding. Very much so. And if you've watched I probably will go back and watch it myself, but the video I put out on hip hop healing the wounds of the United States, this comes up again about power and wound and these power structures. So it's interesting that this is baked into these vibrational cores. And so Chiron is the space of the greatest wound. So the greatest wound of this nation of people is in the space of Pisces, which is in the spiritual space, which means that the greatest wound that these formerly enslaved people have to deal with and contend with and heal is around this disconnection from God or from spirit or from universe or from a higher power. This is not at all by coincidence that we know when bad things happen in our lives, the hardest thing is to keep faith and to keep believing and to have hope. So I can't even begin to imagine how disconnected from spirituality, from God, from a higher power that my ancestors and our ancestors felt. And it's right here in the birth chart that the greatest wound is healing this connection between these lineages and higher power. And so, whether that is the building and the connecting to a higher power in a new way, or reconnecting with spirituality and connection to higher power in the ways of our ancestors that we need to relearn. But that's huge. That's huge because the healing of this That's what breaks a lot of these generational curses. I also think it's really interesting that out of all of these planets, all of these placements, it's Chiron that is at the 19th, like exactly 19 degrees Pisces. And then it's June 19th, 1865. So I think that's really powerful. So this is very interesting to look at, because by looking at this, when we think about what are some of these bigger vibrational stories that keep playing out, and the healing that must occur and that needs to be happening, it's all right there. It's all right there. It's written into the vibrational core. And if you go look on Twitch, the other thing that I look at, I'll put it here just so you can see, so you know which one I'm talking about. And then if you have questions, you can feel free to ask me at another time. But I did also look at the vibrations of the United States of America on that day, on that date, Juneteenth day. And again, we're seeing a lot of these stories, these patterns, these cycles that have been playing out between these groups of people, all baked in here also. Um, so yeah, you can also look at this one. So I think that's all I'll say, unless you have questions. Um, but yeah, it's really important for us to not continue to look at vibration and these vibrational spaces as like, oh, it's just about my personality or what's doing. um when we start weaving these vibrations together, so like, yeah, it's fun to look at your life path number, and it's fun to look at like your horoscope, which is just your sun sign, and see how much of it relates to who you are. um but it's actually really important for us to understand our vibrational cores, the core of who we are vibrationally, because that's how we move through the world and we interact with other energy and vibration. That's how we get to a point where we have a vibrational contribution to the whole. And we've talked about multiple times where it's no longer enough for us to just continue to do the old things we were doing. We have to move into a place of awareness. No more can we just say we didn't know. It's you do know, and you have to know. It's no more I just didn't know. And so it just happened. We have to move into a place of awareness, so then our use of energy, our how we are wielding our vibrational power is very intentional. Very intentional, because it's intentional. This is not just synchronistic, and it's not by coincidence. So we have to become truly attuned and in tune with the universe by being aware and intentional. I think that was my biggest point for all of that. Oh, I love it though. But very much go take a look at the Twitch recording. When I'm on Twitch, I don't talk. So that makes it a little bit harder, but you can watch, you could stop and pause and see what I'm writing. And then if you have questions, certainly let me know. And I may put together a longer video. We'll see. But whoo, We got through it. This was a good late night stream. I had fun. This was great. Thank you. I appreciate you. Let me make sure I didn't miss any cuz you always have some good comments. So I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Good, 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 good stuff. Oh, and so I did for tomorrow. We will be live tomorrow. Much earlier. Much earlier than today. um and we will focus in on hip hop and hip hop vibrations. I did not just finish listening to Vince Staples, but have listened to it multiple times and have listened to a couple of reactors respond to it so that I could really grab and tap into those vibrations. So we will look at that tomorrow. So if you haven't listened to Vince Staples' new album, Crybaby, I would invite you to do that so that we can have a good discussion tomorrow. I really enjoyed it, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. And what else? Yeah, no, just bring whatever. If there's any not just for Vince Staples, but if there's any lyrics, if there are any songs, if there are any happenings, certain people within the hip hop space that you want to look at the vibrations, certainly bring them tomorrow. I'll be here. Hopefully, you will too. Oh, so cheesy. Oh, it's hilarious. All right. Thank you all for being here, especially so late. I really was locked in on Koala's live. So I'm glad we made it here. I'm glad we were able to get together. I'm going to go ahead and do our ending statement. Hope everybody has a wonderful night and that I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, here we go. Please apply the vibrational healing you take with you and come back soon for another healing dose. Always remember, I see you, I hear you, I feel you. You are love, you are healing, you are whole. Have a wonderful night, everybody. See you tomorrow. I love you.